Good morning, Lincoln, Nebraska. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Monday Hookup. Phillips, Elijah Herbal. I feel like there's a theme on this for some reason. Morning, Shane.
Happy Purdue Day.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
don't.
Or don't. Or don't. Welcome in. Beautiful morning outside. Great start. We're talking a lot of college hoops today. Also, Robin Washington in segment number 2, HuskerOnline.com. Kind of look at Rutgers a little bit with him and look ahead. We'll look bracketology a little bit. Joe Lenardi updated his, by the way. Just wrote it down. Completely waited to after last night to update his. Take a peek at that. Brian Munson with HuskerOnline.com. Little stories that we missed. How about a little Olympic update today? I watched some fantastic stuff yesterday, and I told you I wasn't invested in one of these sports, but there's a couple out there that is making it must-watch TV. It's one of those hold your beer sports.
Mm-hmm.
They're making it must-watch with a massive upset yesterday. Massive. I loved every bit of what I was watching. My wife is like, you have to watch this. I'm like, no, I don't. No, she goes, no, really. Just the couple, who they are, all that. I also watched them. I was watching the Olympics last night and just thinking to myself, never, never, ever, ever would I. That, is it just downhill ski jump?
Oh, ski jump. Yeah.
Yikes.
I feel like I could be pretty good at that.
Just
arms back.
Back.
Arms back. Yeah.
And then you're holding it for so long.
And then you're landing 600 feet away.
No way. No way. So we'll get a little Olympic update. We'll do the medal count. Everybody loves a good medal count. Hey, I want to ask you this first, because it's kind of a hot topic going around. I feel like when we talk about this, it's a lot like my kids. When you're on to one of your kids and they're like trying to get out of something, but the other kid's like, oh, I'm so good at what I do. I love you, Dad. I love you, Mom, over here in the corner. I feel like that's what Bill Moose has done. Don't you feel like that? Like,
it's a good comparison.
Yeah. Like he did good. Like everybody was looking like, man, that guy, he brought you Frost, which everybody thought checked the box. Fred Hoiberg, checked the box. Will Bolt, I believe, was in that mix, right?
Mm-hmm.
He brought everybody back going, yeah. Then there was other stuff that happened. All the rumors about whatever his life was like during COVID, where he was actually at. Then he gets let go. Well, whatever happens. It's like, all right, next man up. And then all of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute. I wasn't so bad. It was those other people. Let's call him out in his new book. In the excerpt. There's a lot going on in that book. About a lot of, what do you call it? Turmoil? Is it turmoil? Or I don't know what what is the right word that he would describe the administration according to his book when he was here.
It's called broken. There was a lot of turmoil behind the scenes.
Not on the same page.
There was just dysfunction.
There you go. Dysfunction. Because you read the book, and again, one man's encounter, right, is what this book is. It's been a book in the makes about his time at Nebraska. Boy, you talk about forceful stuff. Alleged the whole Frost deal didn't go well early on. The forced action there. You read some excerpts about the Big 12.
Apparently,
Dana Altman, the current GOV, makes waves in that book, according to the encounter of Bill Moose.
Mm-hmm. And I want it to be noted with everything that happens in this book. This is a guy taking you through his memory of his time in a tenure.
And a lot of people might go, "Huh, wonder how good that memory is with a little bit of scotch and bourbon."
That is a question.
That's what sources at some point said.
And the secondary part of this is there's going to be bias when somebody looks back at their own story.
Yeah, because they want to look better than it was.
Yeah, or they just feel that you're always the hero in your own story.
Yep.
It's a lot easier to put blame on other people than blame on yourself as you look back on events.
Yeah, like I said, I compared to my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, I wasn't that time out, but I love you over here.
Like the example that stands out to me is being the guy who, looking back, might be telling this as the hero in his own story. Was the whole whatever he sat down with Frost and they talked to him. Well, he's not ready. He's not mature enough.
He's not there.
Well, you still hired him. And the reasoning in the book was, well, I'd get killed. Like I had to hire him.
Because he'd be if I didn't get a number one, I'd look bad because I had a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'd be at Florida or Tennessee. You can't let the prodigal son leave, not come back.
Which, is that fair? Yes. Would a athletic director worth their salt trust their gut instinct? I believe so.
Well, I think I will say this, and I'm not there. We weren't in the room learning about that. There was probably a lot of pressure on Bill Moose to make that hire. That was one, I believe, from the optics level, was like your first chance to be that guy. The first chance to go, yep, he's going to do it. Because I think if that wasn't made, they'd be like, now what? Now what?
Sure.
Look at that. See, couldn't get the guy back. Now that's whichever way you want to look at it. Now one could say he's landed 2 good ones of the 3. Fred Hoiberg, well done, 3 straight 21 seasons to number 7 in the country, would still be downtown tonight at 6:00. And Will Bolt.
It should be noted though, Bill Moose did say in his book he wanted to hire Dana Altman.
Yes,
not Fred Hoiberg.
Not Fred Hoiberg, and they were like, no way.
Well, one person in particular.
It's the GOV. No, this is over, right? Yeah, it's over. No, we ain't going to talk about it. So there's a lot, not to call him out, but this, again, one man's encounter of his time at a place in a hotbed. Really interesting stuff. There's still a lot more out there. Probably. That's only a few pages of the book that have been put out on the Twitterverse right now.
Yeah, but there's been some.
Are you intrigued to buy the book?
Some revelations. Will I myself go read it? Probably not. You good?
Yeah, but my headphones are going in and out. I could hear you, and then I couldn't hear. Now I'm good. Yes.
Yeah, will I go out and buy this book and read it? Probably not.
No.
Will I be curious on the screenshots and pictures I see from these revelations coming out of the book? Yeah, sure.
I mean, have you not it's just once you've seen it once, it just starts hitting your feed all the time. Because I'm sure I haven't looked. I'm sure there's already more being dropped. Something that's interesting, something to follow.
Yeah, I'll just sit back and understand, though. This is a guy that has bias in telling his own story.
Yeah, just take it for what it is when you're reading it. Now, I have my opinions, not about just that. I have my own opinions being here since 2001. Pretty much going, I think that the administration level at Nebraska, going back to my time since 2001, has not taken any of the accountability of these programs. That's just all I'll say. I think there's other ones out there that have gotten away with whatever, whether it be massive contract extensions to sign off on them, to fire somebody later on, to send in somebody here to set up a guy to get fired. There's been all of that. Now, is it all of them? No. There's been disruptions at the athletic director level as well, but I think that level has been it's been in, should I say, call it mediocre? So it's interesting. It's out there. Hey, good morning, Shane. Shane said I got busy. Almost forgot to call. I must turn the show on. I said, yeah, he slept in and missed the show. How about them Hawks? You deserve to sleep in yesterday. Congrats. We got a lot. Let's chatter this morning. Good morning, Todd. Last night in college hoops. Big stuff
Ooh,
last night in hoops, wasn't it?
KU without Darren Peterson.
Well, that team, by the way, I think I watched parts of that or most of it because it was a really game. Again, that was a weird one because they didn't find out, I guess, till 10 minutes before that he wasn't going to give it a go. And there's a little like weird controversy about that. Did you see that on Twitter?
Yeah. There's
Some
been controversy with his ability to go all year long. This just strikes me as another saga in the Darren Peterson being load managed, his trainers, his agents all handling him, making sure he only puts his best foot forward. It seems like another chapter in that saga.
Yeah. Whatever the case is, he doesn't play. Now, give Kansas credit. He's missed, 11 or 12 games now, whether it be hamstring, ankle, now flu, we'll call it. That team has learned how to play without him already. He's missed 12 total games. He's also missed 5 to 7 second halves or whatever. So that team is a really good team that's found out a way to play without him. And they were pretty dominant last night. Also, check the box, beware of the fog. It's a real thing.
Yep.
That is a real thing.
They have never lost a big Monday game under Bill Self. They're now 40-0.
Wow.
On big Monday games.
Did you see him last night after the game? You could tell it meant a lot.
I'm sure it did.
He just double hands in the air.
Yeah.
Pumping the crowd.
Without their best player.
Was he on the bench last night? I didn't even know it. I was back and forth.
I don't know. There's some things that I think stood out to me live watching it. Kansas looked like they wanted it more. When that's going to make sense playing in front of that home crowd.
Mm-hmm.
They were more physical. Both teams, 15 offensive rebounds. Both teams. I thought Kansas was going to have an advantage in the offensive glass. Turns out both teams came up with 15 offensive rebounds.
That's incredible.
It was Kansas getting to the line 25 times compared to Arizona 14 times. Arizona only shooting 57% from the free throw line. That's your difference.
Yes.
That's your difference. Kansas 21 of 25 from the line. Arizona 8 of 14. And I think that Kansas deserved a bit of a free throw discrepancy.
Yep. Kansas gets to the rack.
I mean, that's there is obviously always going to be some home cooking in college basketball with how the refs are. But Kansas deserved that. They get a much needed, much deserved win.
9 out of 10 wins, by the way. 9 of their last 10, 8 straight, including wins against going back. It's been a really good run for them. Iowa State, throw Baylor in there. BYU, a really good team. They beat at Texas. They went on the road at Texas Tech and got it done. A Utah team, and now previously undefeated, number 1 Arizona. I think there's just one left now, right? Miami Ohio still sitting there hanging out at number 1.
All right, undefeated.
Sorry. But what a good basketball game last night. You'll get some more tonight as we're here in a minute talking to Robin Washut. It's a good slate tonight. Purdue, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Illinois at Illinois tonight. Carolina will get back on the floor after their big win. So that flips it. Duke will get back on the floor tonight against Pittsburgh in a return there. Houston, number 3 against Utah. Iowa State, TCU, Washington State, Gonzaga, boy, they need to get back on after an upset. Is that at Portland State?
Yeah.
Also, I would say this. I think I'm not one that does this. When they announced the top 25 yesterday, all the analysts came out. Why this? Why that? Why this? Why that? I don't care. Was there a case for Illinois to be ahead of Nebraska? Yeah.
Was there a case for Nebraska to be ahead of Illinois?
Yes. Was it okay? Why did Puke stay at 4? No drop, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's all the cases out there. I mean, you could have made up anything. Kansas jumps Carolina. Carolina beat Kansas. I get it, but that was early in the year. There's so many different things you could say or do or make up on where you want your team to be.
At this point, have you ever seen a college football circle of suck? Are you feeling what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Where it's like this team has lost to this team, 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 who lost to the first team. Yeah,
the 7 degrees of yes. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's how college basketball always gets every single year this time of year too.
It does switch up.
It makes it really hard to rank things because you can't go linear. This team lost to this team, so clearly this team is better. Yeah.
I mean, both the Nebraska win at Illinois and the Illinois win at Nebraska probably are a level play.
Yeah,
probably a level play. Nebraska currently in the Lenardi bracketology, 2 seed. Purdue tonight, they're on the 3 line. Some of those other teams that we look at.
Where's Kansas at?
Kansas. Sorry about that. Let's see. They were like they're on the 3 line after last night.
Okay, because they're a team that I was wondering if they would have jumped Nebraska.
They're on the 3 line after last night. Your 4-1s, interesting enough, are still after last. This is updated this morning. Arizona, Michigan, UConn, Puke, still there at the 4 line. Some of the teams to watch because they're now are creeping up. The teams that we have to play coming up. Last 4 buys now, according to Joe Lenardi. UCLA, USC. See them real soon on the West Coast. Last 4 in, New Mexico still sitting there. First 4 out teams, Ohio State. Still a chance to get the win with the win because Nebraska has got to win against them. And that's about it. Nothing else on the next 4 out. Right now, they're predicting 10 Big Ten, 10 SECs, and 9 ACCs, and 7 Big 12s right now. It's a lot going on. A lot more is still going to happen coming up. Big game for Nebraska tonight. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to the resident expert, Robin Wash with HuskErsOnline.com. Dave, good morning, Dave. You said we'll never find out who didn't want to play Oklahoma, Moose or Frost. It might be in the book. Who was in charge when Moose was on the ranch? He spent a lot of time there. Yep. Shane. I was a bartender at a local establishment. Hey, Mark, you liked the red wine.
Saw that. Need to stop yawning.
Got a little tired today?
I feel I got 8 hours last night. I thought it was gonna be great, but it was hitting me this morning.
No, I got a good sleep last night. Well, I think, yeah. I did go to bed early. As a Tar Heel fan, I'm waiting for the video evidence of the Duke staffer getting hit in the face. Or was it a kid throwing a water bottle?
Okay. Grab online here.
Welcome back to the morning hookup. Happy Tuesday. This is our guy from HuskerOnline.com, Robin Wash. Wash, what's good, my friend?
What's happening?
I wouldn't be the first one publicly to congratulate you. I know you didn't win, but number 2 is pretty damn good. Where your brain was midway.
We had a valiant effort. The Rams would have beaten the Seahawks. I probably am taking home the trophy, but here we are, second place. At least I get a little $100, but no one remembers second place. So it's in the end, it's a failure.
Well, we do. We remember it because
What's the old Ricky Bobby quote? If you ain't first,
If you
you're
ain't first,
last.
you're last.
yeah, boy,
This applies for this one.
it does apply. But I just want to say congratulations.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
Got
it.
it done.
We made it. We made a run.
Yeah, you did. Again, Robin Wash at HuskerLane.com. Wash, I want to ask you. I know there's. So we're going to talk Rutgers a little bit. Nebraska Rutgers come up preview coming up. But tell me what you're seeing, because I think like optically and what this Nebraska team has done. I know you've been putting a lot of stuff out. These NIL stuff, these jerseys. When you see 3 Huskers in the top 10, obviously, I think Wagler was still number 1 up there. But talk about that. I mean, I know there's probably a lot of Husker fans out there, but something the era of the NIL, dollars and cents, but what it is to see 3 Nebraska guys in the top 4.
I think it shows that Husker fans love themselves a winner, and no matter what sport or what player, they're gonna show out. And the cool thing about that NIL store is that the players actually get some money. So it's not like the Adidas brand gear that you get at like a team store, but they also have player jerseys and all that stuff. So like you can like specify like what player like is your favorite, where you can't do that normally with a normal gear. So like that shows that there's some marketable players on this team that fans are getting behind, and kids want Sam Hoiberg jerseys. They want Braden Frager jerseys. They want the Rink Mass Netherlands national team jersey like your boy got. And so like I think it's a cool way to not just support your team, but support your players while also, giving them, a little bit of coin to help sweeten the pot a little bit. So I think it's the kind of, this is what NIL was supposed to be. Yeah. Like in a lot of ways, it wasn't supposed to be, sign a 2-year contract and then you're done. It's supposed to be like, get out in the public, like make money off of your brand. And this is the kind of stuff like that was supposed to be NIL organically, and is actually kind of the cool side to this whole deal.
When you talk about supporting the team, Robin, it's a big one tonight, 6:00. Do you worry about, it's a bit of an earlier tip on a weeknight, but it's a big opponent. Husker fans, I think, love when Purdue comes to town, and Fred Hoiberg's teams always seem to be well prepared for Purdue, no matter how good or bad Fred Hoiberg's teams have been. It feels like it's always been a dogfight with Purdue. What's your take just on the environment at PBA tonight and what you're expecting in this matchup?
Yeah, I would, it's not the best for Tuesday at 6. People are just getting off work, and like getting down there is kind of a pain because you got the people downtown that are leaving work mixed with the people coming downtown to go to the game. And so like, all that stuff, it's a hurdle, but is it any worse than an 8:00 tip where people are, having to drive home at midnight or whatever it is? So like, I guess there's a trade-off both sides, but the Nebraska fans show out no matter what. They could play this at 11 p.m. and Husker fans would still show up. So I think it's going to be a great environment, as it should be. It's a top 15 matchup and a huge game for Nebraska. And Purdue really, in terms of staying in the conference championship race, in terms of, further solidifying a top 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament, further, making a case to be a top 2 or 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. So there's a lot at stake in this one, and especially for Nebraska looking ahead at the rest of their schedule. This is a great opportunity to really make another statement victory while also putting yourself in a prime position to kind of really capitalize on this lighter, quote unquote, back half of the schedule, especially this final stretch where outside of Iowa and the LA games, you get a lot of manageable games at home. And if you can win this Purdue game, that really positions yourself to kind of make a real strong push for all those goals when it comes to Big Ten tournament, NCAA tournament, and maybe even a regular season conference championship.
Yeah, Robin, talk about this team a little bit, because if you look at this team, the MO so far is, I don't want to call them slow starts, but they've been average starts to games. But there's something within them where you got to believe there's a lot of in-game changes happen, because you look at the back half of the first halves, and when they come out in the second halves, they seem to be a different basketball club. Is that, do you feel like that's a lot of Fred and staff that are making those in-game adjustments after playing chess for a little bit in the first half?
Yeah, their second half adjustments have been really good all year. really kind of the Illinois game notwithstanding, but I mean they've done a great job of being able to adapt, and that ability is going to be as valuable as ever tonight against a Purdue team that is probably just as good, if not better, at making those on-the-fly adjustments and finding ways to throw different wrinkles at a team to catch them off guard. So Nebraska's adaptability is probably going to be tested more than ever tonight, and that's when you kind of lean on not just your coaching staff being able to draw up stuff, but your veteran players being able to kind of, change things up on the fly and adjust and, handle whatever it is Purdue tries to throw at them. Because Matt Painter's playbook on offense is as big as anybody in the country. And the defense, like they don't really just stick to one defensive philosophy. Like they'll go zone, they'll go press, they'll go man, like at any given moment. And so that's when your veterans that have been there, done that, and seen it all, like you trust them to be able to handle that the right way. And then the coaching staff obviously, needs to draw up stuff to get them in position to be successful. But this is where like having a veteran, older roster that has kind of been through the grind of all this before, you're leaning on that to be able to handle everything that Purdue's going to throw at them.
Robin Wash with us here in Purdue. What is Purdue going to throw at Nebraska? I mean, everyone circles Braden Smith. Guy's fantastic. Trey Coffin-Rinn, he's been a load inside. Whenever you evaluate and scout this Purdue team, what do they have you think that's really going to stress this Husker team tonight?
Yeah, it's all Braden Smith. I mean, he does everything for them, and he's the best point guard in college basketball, and likely Big Ten Player of the Year, front runner, All-American, all that stuff. So, like, he's the head of the snake, and he makes everything go. He's one of their best scorers, best three-point shooters, their best defenders. I think he leads them in steals, and obviously he's second in the nation in assists. So, like, he gets everybody involved. So, like, that's where it all comes down to. And then when you have a guy like Trey Kaufman-Renn, who's a versatile scorer in the post, that adds another element. But really, I think the big X factor for Purdue is Fletcher Lawyer, the guard, who has been kind of hot and cold all year. There was a stretch, especially including the 3-game losing streak Purdue was just on, where he was scoring like single digits over like 6 or 7 games. And coincidentally, he's kind of flipped the switch a little bit over these last 2. He's at 29 and 18 over the last 2 games. And so when he is clicking, paired with Braden Smith kind of running the show and Trey Kaufman-Renn doing his thing in the post, that's when Purdue's offense becomes, one of the best in college basketball. And so, like, Nebraska's got to find a way to limit those options. Like, all 3 of those guys can't be hot. Like, you got to take away, if Braden's going to get his, you got to take Kaufman-Renn away. And you got to make sure that Lawyer doesn't light you up for 6 3-pointers, which he's capable of doing. So, like, Purdue is as efficient of an offense as there is in the country, and they've got weapons that can go off for 20 or 30 on any given night. And a lot of it is just coming down to Nebraska being locked in from start to finish, as always, but especially against a team like Purdue that can do so many different things, that have so many players that can beat you at an elite level. This has to be one of their best defensive games of the season. And, if they play up to their potential defensively and they, make Purdue one-dimensional, then I think, the Nebraska's going to have a real chance. But if they let Purdue just do whatever they want and let Braden Smith get into the pocket and, fire that ball all over the place to open shooters and they knock down the shots, that's when you lose by 36 points like they did to Purdue the last time they played.
It's a little different that we're previewing a Purdue team. We're not talking about some 7'4" giant freak of a human on the inside who could just go off whenever he wants to. It's different. It's different. It's nice.
Yeah, they're more of a spaced out kind of similar to Nebraska in a lot of ways with how they're built. Now they have size with Clough, the big guy. I mean, he's 6'10", 255, something like that. So, I mean, they got big guys, but they don't have 7'4", 300. So yeah, that changes things a little bit. So this, the one thing though is like Nebraska always had probably as good of a plan for all those monstrous bigs, Edey or Isaac Haas or whoever it was, that like they gave those guys problems probably more than anybody else. And so like that was kind of a luxury really, where Purdue had to adjust to Nebraska because they took away their best guy. Now they don't have that. Like obvious if we keep Zach Edey out of the post. Like, if you focus all your attention on Kaufman Wren, then Purdue's going to light you up from outside. So we'll be curious to see how Nebraska prioritizes Purdue defensively. Obviously, it's Braden Smith, but again, if you devote all your attention to stopping him, they've got a few other guys that can beat you, and he's more than happy to distribute to them.
Well, Watch, we've talked about their big guys. Talk about the importance of our two bigger guys tonight. And Rink Mass, really welcome back type game, having 26, but only 1 3-pointer made last week. There's an importance, I think, on him making more threes tonight. Also, Berke, 18 minutes last game, his lowest minutes on the floor all season long, but his ability to defend the night without fouling.
Yeah, and I think Berke is going to be key stopping Kaufman Wren. But they don't ever go just like straight up man to man for an entire game, like with that baseline trap that they run. But like when it comes to just matching up, like I think Berke is going to handle the bulk of that, and he's the best post defender, and he needs to be on his game. Like again, you got to kind of pick and choose your poison with Purdue, and as always, Nebraska is going to take away the post before they take away anything else. So that lies on Berke pretty heavily, and then with offensively. Yeah, if there was ever a game for Rink to find his 3-point shot again, this would be it. Because when Purdue struggles, it's when bigs spread them out and hit threes. Like every game that they've lost or had issues with, it's been because they've had fives that can step out and make Purdue's bigs have to defend on the perimeter. And that opens up everything else. Purdue's had a real hard time defending the 3-point line. And when you make all 5 of those guys have to do it, that puts them in a real stressful spot. So Rink hitting 3, 4, 5 threes could change the entire dynamic of this game. And, I think Fred Hoiberg insists that lid is going to come off eventually. And why not tonight, huh?
Mm-hmm. Robin, when you look ahead to March and NCAA tournament seeding, how important is this game just given Nebraska, the teams they have left on their schedule? It doesn't look like there's going to be another ranked foe. How important is this one tonight then whenever Nebraska is hoping to be maybe a 2 seed or even a 3 seed at the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I mean, it's big because it's the last kind of ranked, like you said, top 15 opponent on the schedule. And then the rest of the schedule is more just about like holding serve. So this is kind of the last opportunity to get a real statement victory. Especially, you bounce back against Rutgers, but it was Rutgers. I think if you bounce back by winning at Rutgers and then beating Purdue, then all of a sudden you're in that 2 seed conversation very much. So I like this is a big one for NCAA tournament seeding, just in the fact that it's another resume piece, but then also, in terms of conference standings finish, like Purdue's right there with Nebraska, and this would be a important tiebreaker when it comes to tournament seeding and all that stuff. And, tournament or conference seeding usually has a direct link to your NCAA tournament seeding. So there's a lot of layers to this one about why this is probably the biggest game, certainly one of, but maybe the biggest game left on Nebraska's schedule the rest of the way because of all the opportunities that come with it.
I'm disappointed us. Neither one of us or all of us have not asked on the Purdue side who is going to hold Sam Hoiberg down, maybe the best guard in all of America.
Yeah. They're going to have that's kind of where Nebraska's got a little bit of an X factor. They got Sam, they got Jamarcus, and that's where with Rink shooting and you open up the floor, that's when all those back cuts happen. And, when Nebraska was so good against Rutgers, they could do anything they wanted, get into the lane. And that's got to continue. And Sam Hoiberg is the heart and soul of this team. Mm-hmm. He might not be the best player on the team, but he's the most valuable player on the team. And, his ability, Purdue doesn't foul just like Nebraska doesn't foul, but if you can do anything to fluster Braden Smith or maybe get him in foul trouble or do whatever to just kind of throw him out of rhythm, that's kind of where it starts for Nebraska defensively. And so, the 2 guys that are going to be in charge of that more than anybody are Sam Hoiberg and Jamarcus Lawrence. So a big task, but also a big opportunity for them.
It's Robin Washut with us here, HuskerOnline.com, as we preview Nebraska and Purdue, a big one tonight down at Pinnacle Bank Arena. And Robin, what do you make of the fact Nebraska is favored? This is probably the last thought here on this game tonight, because I look at the rest of the schedule. I do feel Nebraska will likely be favored in every game they have left during the regular season. Tonight looks like they're a 1.5-point favorite. Kind of feels like a bit of a toss-up, but what do you make of that fact? I mean, Nebraska does have some respect, not just AP top 25, but with the Vegas quote-unquote insiders as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're the higher ranked team that's lost one game at home, playing at home against a Purdue team that's lost 3 of its last 4. So I guess 3 of their last 5. So they, I mean, it makes sense to me, but I think the fact that the line is only 1.5 shows that this one is about as much of a coin flip. I mean, I think they're just giving the 1.5 for the home court advantage. So that's one of the things Jamarcus Lawrence talked about after the game at Rutgers was that, they went into the season expecting to win every game at home. They've already lost one at home. This is the next real, maybe one of the last real big home games this regular season. So I think they've got to kind of come in with that mentality. Like, you're at PBA, you don't lose at PBA, regardless of the opponent. So how much Nebraska feeds off that crowd, how electric the atmosphere is. Purdue's a team that's kind of seen it all in terms of that. So I don't think they're going to be intimidated, but Nebraska is such a team that thrives on its home court that if you look at ways that Nebraska can find an X factor, that might be it. That when they get rolling and PBA is juiced up and sandstorms blasting through the PA, like it's one of the hardest places to play in all of college basketball, and I think Nebraska needs to lean into that as much as possible.
Speaking of PBA, last time they were there, a electric environment. It didn't turn out that I got the win against Illinois, but what was what are, if any, feedback? Because it was a very talented group of kids that came to visit Nebraska and Pinnacle Bank Arena on that afternoon. Anything from there, or any insights on where this class could go for next year?
Yeah, I mean, as you'd expect, everybody was blown away by the atmosphere. All the visits were good, as they usually are. And thing is, like, most of them are 2027 kids, so they're kind of just getting started with their recruiting process. And a lot of them are guys that had already been here before. I think every visitor, it was a return trip for them. So, they'd kind of seen it, but they also got a chance to see PBA at its best. So that was valuable there. The one official visitor was Matias Alasanco Vasquez from Brazil, who's currently playing at OTE out in Atlanta. And things went really well with him. He didn't get in until Sunday, and stayed till Tuesday with his family. And, the visit was great. And, now with kind of the talk that, he originally visited Texas and Michigan last summer, but it sounds like those have kind of passed, where they're not really in the conversation anymore. Unless a team jumps in late, I don't even know who Nebraska is contending with right now for him. And, I don't think they're in any rush, especially with high school kids, because they're not in a position where they're going to promise high school kids or guarantee them anything in terms of playing time or whatever. So I think as long as, the terms of the contract are good and he's willing to accept Nebraska's plan for him, then it kind of seems like a no-brainer situation that he's a player that they are very high on. Maybe not in terms of an immediate starter next year, but a guy that could develop like a Braden Frager, to go from a first year figuring things out to becoming a big piece of the lineup in a couple of years. He's got that George Niang type ability that would be a perfect fit for what Nebraska wants to do. So it makes a lot of sense on both sides. We'll see if Hooksy's Carolina jump in late, or a school like that, which there's been talk about that. But for now, I think Nebraska did all it could. They made quite the impression on him, and now it's just kind of a waiting game to see if Alasanco's Vasquez's people and him feel like that's the good spot for him. But Nebraska did what they were supposed to do with all those visitors, and so did PBA.
Rob, before we get you out of here, Bill Moose, this book that he has released, editing wise, it's poor, but there are some bombshells in there. Have you had a chance to see any of the reports coming out of this book, and do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I just saw some of the clips. I liked how he spelled Jim Pillen's name wrong, throughout the book. Yeah.
It's Pillan.
And then,
it's Pillan.
I don't know. I kind of take it all for what it is. It's interesting to see all this stuff after the fact. The fact that he wanted to go after Dana Altman and was supposedly told no, that Nebraska wouldn't accept him. Well, I don't know how true that is, or how how accurate it is, but interesting because Nebraska ended up with Fred Hoiberg. So even if Fred wasn't their plan A and they went with Dana, it's kind of interesting to think of what that world would have looked like. But yeah, and I guess Bill Moose is a guy that has really been pushing this book a lot, and I take it for what it is. It's interesting to read, but again, the lack of editing and just kind of how that was just kind of random thoughts slapped together made it a interesting read, to say the least.
Super interesting stuff. Well, Rob, man, we appreciate your time as always, my friend. Take care of yourself. We'll see you down at the bank tonight.
Sounds good, man. See you later.
Robin Washington, HuskerOnline.com. Great stuff from him. Let's come back. Let's look at the Olympics when we return. Good stuff. You might not even have to buy the book if you didn't want to at all. It's going to be all out there. They're probably all gone now, but we used to have a bunch of sounders of Bill Moose on the board back there.
We used to.
Yeah, I'm sure they're gone with all the other stuff. You're gonna see it. Schedule and results. When is that coming up? Nope, not what I want. Medal events coming up. What's coming up?
Mixed doubles curling is coming up in about an hour.
11 o'clock. Just look, 11:05.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Yeah. Qualifiers for figure skating coming up.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what I watched yesterday when we come back. It's kind of fun. Oh, writing this down too.
Ooh, women's singles luge is coming up.
You
as well.
watch that?
Luge is crazy.
Oh, I watched it yesterday. Just like 70 plus miles an hour.
Feet first.
Just get a little slate today.
Come back.
Welcome back to the Morning Hookup. Special thanks to Robin Washington with HuskerOnline.com. I was watching videos earlier which look, are you back tonight? Are you mended up? It's Tuesday night.
Oh, bowling
You're
wise?
good. You got this figured out. All right. We're bracing it up.
No brace.
Last week it wasn't good.
Some ice mid-table.
A little kind of figured out.
I woke up feeling sort of thin.
Tonight also, by the way, if you're not yes. So also tonight, by the way, if you're not watching Nebraska, I know you get a lot of people will. You can catch one Jeff Wilkes tonight right here on 7:20. Big time Class B matchup, 1 versus 2 tonight. North Scott tonight. So catch him if you're not listening or watching Husker Hoops. You can catch Jeff Moat, 7:20 on KFOR. The Olympics are off and running. A lot of good stuff happened. Medal counts are out there. The Olympic, as an American, I don't watch this medal count as closely because typically this isn't the most American-dominated Olympics. Just because of the skiing, you got the Norways, the Swedens, the Germanys, all those out there. Typically, America is going to be about halfway down. Right now, I think they have two. I think they have 5 total medals, 2, 2, and 1 right now.
Chance at another gold, though, with
Chance
curling today.
Oh, my God. I watched it. One, they upset the reigning gold medalists in Italy yesterday. I watched most of that. I was just happened to be at home and doing some stuff and some admin stuff. I'm like, I'm going to turn this on. What strategic stuff goes into that? And I was trying to figure out the 2s, the 1s, oh my gosh.
Have you seen the quarterfinal, the triple knockout that they had? Where he went like tic-tac-toe inside the board and knocked out 3 of the other stones?
I don't even get it. And they're like their commands that they're barking out, obviously in different languages, depending on the different countries that are represented. But the Americans with the massive upset of number 1 in the world, Italy, yesterday. In the last throw, was it throw? No, not throw. Curl? What do you call it?
A stone?
Stone? Whatever.
Throw.
Last slide. Get it done with a 2.97 win. That couple, what's the name? Conklins? Is that it? If you guys are out there and you know, because they're electric. Like curling is that sport where you watch the other ones, there's little emotion. But that win yesterday, there was emotion all over the board for that couple. See him at the end, he like chucked his, what do you call it? His brush, whatever. It's called something for real. And just electric. But they will go for the gold medal today at 11:05. I want to say it's one of the first medals that but he did say yesterday, the female, she will be the first female to win because they have women's curling. I don't know. It was like one of the first females to do something like this. So, but America will go after 11:05 today.
It's exciting.
It's very exciting. It's not as exciting as, or is it terrifying, whether you're watching the luge. I had so much anxiety watching that, knowing that just like a downhill skier in Lindsey Vonn, or because somebody, by the way, there was another American that fell exactly where Lindsey fell this morning. Don't know the update, but I know she fell. But 75 miles an hour, feet down.
On these 2 tiny little skates.
Yikes. Or the downhill ski jump where your skis are like locked into the trail, the tracks. They're busting that thing.
Okay. You can't pick curling. Which Winter Olympic sport do you think you'd be best at? You can't pick curling because curling's too obvious, too easy.
Let me think about this. God, there's a lot.
I'd like to think biathlon, but I'm not a great shot, and I'm also not a great cross-country skier. So,
see, here's the deal. I think it's downhill ski and jump. I just think about this. I thought this last night because I look at the other ones. I'm not getting on a luge no matter what you're trying to get me to do. I am not figure skating because I can't ice skate. So that's hockey's out. By the way, I watched randomly with my wife the rhythmic figure skating doubles. Pretty intense.
I'd like
being
to think,
picked up and twirling these characters.
I'd like to think I could play goalie in hockey.
And by the way, yeah, maybe.
I got quick reaction time.
But also I need something that's up and done. So I don't have to think. I'm at the top of the mountain and I'm like, okay, here we go. No looking back. Is that movie? Is it Eddie the Eagle? Did you ever watch that one?
Yeah, with the British guy, dude.
Pretty good movie.
That was good.
Pretty intense.
Look, bobsled. If I was just a pusher in bobsled, maybe I could be all right.
You mentioned it yesterday. Our bobsled team looked like the movie Cool Runnings when they first got started yesterday. Yikes. All right, coming up, Ryan Munson on HuskerOnline.com. Stories we missed. Maybe a little college hoops, maybe a little football, and a whole lot more. We'll be right back.
If you've got trash, it's time to stop trash talking and clean up with MWC Can. MWC Can is your one-stop container shop for front load, rear load, side load, and self-dumping containers. Come to MWC Can in Lincoln off North 56th Street and Russell Drive to see their full line of steel and poly containers for any trash need. MWC Can. Let them help you take out the trash the right way. Visit MWC-can.com today.
Get inspired at the 54th Annual Home and Garden Show, February 13th through the 15th at Sandhills Global Event Center in Lincoln. $10 admission. Let the experts bring your home projects to life. Learn more at hbal.org.
KFOR invites you to join Legacy Retirement's John Kopetsky and his special guests Saturday mornings for the Aging Adventure. Brought to you by Legacy Retirement Communities. Lifestyle and health topics plus fascinating people. The Aging Adventure, 8 a.m. Saturdays on KFOR.
When it feels like the world has stopped, good finds a way. Good is happening, even now. Good connects us, even when we can't get close. Good never stops, and neither does Children International. With support from caring friends, we help provide children and families with the critical essentials they need. Essentials like food assistance, hygiene education, medical help, and financial support. To learn more, go to children.org/help today. Together, we can help end poverty for good.
Let's go. At Liberty First Credit Union, you don't have to wait. Get auto loan rates as low as 2.99% and personal loans as low as 7.49% for up to 36 months. Whether you're upgrading your ride, tackling a project, or planning your next big move, Liberty First helps you get there faster for less. Liberty First Credit Union. Let's go save. Rate and APR based on creditworthiness, term, and if applicable, vehicle details. See Liberty First Credit Union for details. Equal housing lender. Equal housing opportunity.
Lincoln. Clear the streets and lace up your shoes. The 49th Annual Lincoln Marathon and Half Marathon hits the streets Sunday, May 3rd. Whether you're chasing a PR, tackling your very first race, or running for the thrill of the finish, this is your moment. Register now for the full or half marathon at lincolnmarathon.org. But don't wait. Spots are filling fast. And if you're not running, get involved by volunteering or cheering along the course to help power every mile. Register today at lincolnmarathon.org.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Lincoln's local news, talk, sports, and weather station. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, and KFRX HD3, Lincoln.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. It has been a week and a half, but so far, no sign of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, believed kidnapped from her home in Arizona. The ABC consultant and former FBI agent Brad Garrett says the case has been confounding for many.
This is a case that's always troubled me from the beginning because it's not a normal kidnapping. There's no direct communication with her family. There's no ability to basically send something to Savannah and her brother and sister regarding proof of life. Not that was apparently even brought up, I assume, by the would-be or alleged kidnappers.
The Secretary of Commerce facing continued questions to resign in the wake of revelations in the Epstein files that contradict Howard Lutnick's recent statements about the man he once lived next door to in New York. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has details.
Last fall, the Commerce Secretary told an interviewer that he vowed in 2005 to never again be in the same room with his then next-door neighbor. But the Epstein files show Howard Lutnick continued to socialize with the then convicted sex offender. At a Senate hearing, Lutnick acknowledged he had lunch on Epstein's Island in 2012.
My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies.
Lutnick insists.
I barely had anything to do with that person.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
A new report from the Nonpartisan Tax Foundation says the tariffs imposed by President Trump have cost the average American household $1,000 over the past year.
Gas prices and some grocery staples like eggs are down, but other foods that have been impacted by tariffs include fresh produce, beef, coffee. Ground coffee prices are up 34% in the past year.
ABC's Elizabeth Schulze. That coming as U.S. household debt hits a new record high. All of us combined owe $18.8 trillion, including credit card debt of $1.28 trillion. This is ABC News.
We'll admit, we've already thrown in the towel on the New Year's resolution.
Yeah, and we made it through dry January. But one healthy new habit we're sticking with is Active Liver from New Nordic. Did you know your liver works around the clock processing food, sugar, alcohol, and everyday toxins? All things that can really impact your health.
That's why daily support matters. Active Liver is designed to help protect normal liver function and support your body's natural detox process.
With trusted ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and artichoke extract, it's gentle enough to take all year long.
No harsh cleanses, no extreme detoxes, just simple daily liver support. We really feel the difference.
Yup, more energy and the peace of mind knowing we can enjoy the good things in life while giving our liver the love it needs.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Or you can find it in stores at CVS, Meijer Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GM.
Changing requirements and becoming a teacher or a substitute. Good morning, I'm Jeff Motes. Some sunshine, 41 degrees at KFOR. Requirements to become a teacher or substitute in the state of Nebraska include having a degree, undergoing a background check, even completing a training in human relations. LB 1022 from Glenville, Senator Dave Merman would eliminate the human relations course requirement.
If it weren't for the human relations course requirement, that caller could already be in the classroom today. Instead, depending on where they take the course, they will have to spend the next 2 to 8 weeks and somewhere between $100 and $300 to take the course.
Training through that human relations course involves dealing with biases like sex. The 18th and N Streets on Monday got unanimous approval for the Lincoln City Council in a vote of 7-0. The 18N Building Redevelopment Project aims to bridge the gap between downtown and the Telegraph District. It calls for 87 units from businesses south of O Street. Readjusting Speedway Properties' original plans for 2023 for about $5 million of inflation supplies and construction was the original speedway. Now the total comes out to about $25 million. Work is set to begin sometime this year with an expected finish date of around 2028. With this being National Heart Month, Lincoln Fire and Rescue will have a booth set up in the concourse area of Pinnacle Bank Arena tonight at the Nebraska men's basketball game, with crews encouraging you learning how to do hands-only CPR. Even download the PulsePoint app that notifies you of emergency calls, including help for someone going into cardiac arrest.
It does not run your batteries down. They have new updates on them, so make sure you're on the new update one. But we are really, at Lincoln Fire, excited because we have had PulsePoint in our community since 2013.
LFR Public Information Officer MJ Lerman says the PulsePoint app also alerts you of nearby AEDs and emergencies. Sunshine today and a high around 41. I'm Jeff Motes, KFOR News.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
For America's wounded warriors, sometimes coming home can be a battle in itself.
Every one of them needs our support to meet the challenges they face every day. The USO provides Americans a way to offer that support to our wounded warriors and their families. Join us. Visit
This is the Morning Hookup on KFOR.
Welcome back to the Morning Hookup, hour number 2 on a beautiful Tuesday. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'll ask the question, what was on the menu tonight? Man, I'll be down there. So it's no free plugs. I won't tell you where I'll be. Some kind of, I don't know. I go back and forth right now. I've been going to the same place with my kid Ty for probably whatever years. It's been a long time. I know for a fact since PBA opened, because my wife needs to go to the Bob and basketball games out there, but it always involves some wings, a burger, or what Ty would say the best nacho in the entire world. It will be, I don't know, I'd have to guess his 500th time ordering the nacho. To the fact that he walks in and they know exactly what the kid wants, and that's what he gets. So I don't know. Do you have? I know you're bowling tonight. Do you have pregame meal set up?
Probably just make. I have some leftover ingredients to make queso from Super Bowl Sunday. So I might just make some more queso. The question is, do I want to make guac while the queso's? Because it's just the very simple queso of Rotel and Velveeta, like nothing special. Maybe make some ground beef.
You got to throw the beef in there.
Yeah, you got to have the seasoned taco meat.
Why don't you throw a little chorizo in? Let's spice your life up. Come on now.
Do you think I should cook the chorizo together with the ground beef or cook it separate?
Separate.
Okay.
No, together.
Together?
Together. I'm going with together.
I'm kind of feeling that.
Yeah, because then you get that solid flow, even mixture in there.
The Pearl Jam would say the even flow.
Yep.
So yeah, think about that. Then the question is, do I want to go invest in avocados? Because avocados,
Yeah, but you can buy them in bulk. Think ahead. As my daughter would just think ahead. What's next on the guac menu?
How much do I want to make?
I don't know. How much guac do you want? Maybe make an avocado cheeseburger later on the week. Throw avocados on the cheeseburger. You don't know. Or throw them on top of your enchiladas. A little garnish on your enchiladas. I'm down.
It's possible. Maybe I'll just make a run over to the Mexican market and see what I can get.
Arlo's make a little casserole tonight. Simple and tasty. A little Runza casserole.
Ooh, I love a Runza casserole.
Just making that tonight.
Now here's the question. With your Runza casserole, what condiment do you put on top, if anything? Because I wouldn't eat a Runza with this, but with a Runza casserole, I love just yellow mustard.
Yeah, but
yellow mustard with Runza casserole.
Mustard's an unsung hero. I can't get my kids to like it at all.
I love mustard.
I think it's an unsung. That's a really weird acquired taste.
I love mustards because there's such a variety. I feel like there's a mustard out there for everybody. Oh, it's too tangy for you. Don't think or here's honey mustard.
The only time I've proven to my kids that they can eat mustard or they will actually do it is when they have the hiccups. Go for it. Spoonful of mustard.
Really?
Winner. You're welcome for today.
Huh. Do you have a favorite mustard?
No. The Grey Poupon? No.
Grey Poupon's.
I like I mean, whatever. I do like spicy mustard, like a good spicy mustard. I don't have a brand in mind, but I don't like. I will use traditional mustard, like in good old ham and cheese hoagie or something.
Yellow mustard has its place, but it's not my favorite.
But I like to kick it up,
like spicy brown mustard.
There you go, man. Ooh, now you got me thinking like a good charcuterie board with that little brown mustard tied to it.
It's still like a little bit gritty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh, there's so many good mustards.
Yeah. Arlo said you nailed it. Hey, I want to ask this question. Like this NIL rev share world, as we get Brian Monson will be up here in about 10 minutes or so. Dan talked a little bit about this. My question is this a what have you done for me lately conversation? Is this where college is going to go? Because now we're talking about Nebraska's in a historical run in basketball, right? One of the best. They're on pace for one of the best seasons. No, the best season they've ever had.
Yeah.
Now Dan is talking about a significant raise in rev share dollars. Now, with that question being, it's got to come from somewhere, right? Is someone else losing it? Is it, this year you're doing it for me? I got guys. I got a Frager. I got a Sanford. I got to keep guys around. Hey, do you mind
Well, based on the College Sport Commission investigation, maybe I'll find a way to play some players under the table and hope.
Yeah, well, that report,
that's
it's everywhere. By the way, we're not. Who was first? Somebody else was first.
It was LSU in Nebraska. Yeah. This strikes me less as Nebraska trying to be nefarious and more as Nebraska just being disorganized and confusion. Which both things are bad, but I think being nefarious is worse than just making mistakes that you shouldn't be making. Now, should you be making mistakes with the paperwork? No, it strikes me as a disorganized, whether it be NIL office or athletic department, whatever you want to call it.
Well, there was a massive transition going on there too, as well. I would throw out that
it's a bad look that your athletic department was seemingly unprepared for what they needed to have paperwork wise and timing wise, but I don't think it's nefarious.
But could I also ask the question in those situations that they might not have known all the rules?
Yeah, which is still a bad look.
It is, but
it's a bad look, but it's not nefarious.
But the NCAA did not have any. They stepped away from it.
Like if it's
and then they tried to. It's even like this Alabama kid, right? Okay.
Well, it's Nebraska's seemingly found a way to break the rules.
Yeah,
there are no rules.
There are no rules, but that's what I'm saying. You are no rules, but you broke them.
Yeah.
I don't.
Again, the early read from me is that it's not nefarious for Nebraska, and therefore, if there is any punishment, I don't think it'd be more than a tiny slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
But
going back to the basketball, because he's talked about two things. He mentioned a significant rev share dollar increase for Nebraska next year. Also, the talk is for baseball going forward. I believe the talk was getting to 34 scholarships. That's a massive investment into a baseball program, right? That's one of the sports that, again, we said it yesterday, the Big Ten doesn't care about baseball. So your university has to go, I care about you and I care about baseball. But the conversation is around where's the rev share. If it's the same, is it a what have you done for me lately conversation? Because now, like I said, we got a Frager, we got a Sanford. How do we keep them around? I need some dollars.
Well, the way I look at this is you will get creative in one way, shape, or form to get more dollars in and not take away money. I mean, the football program is the big one. I don't think you're taking away dollars from the volleyball program. I don't think you're taking away dollars from the football program. But if you're increasing rev share for the basketball program, that means it has to come from somewhere else, which means to me you're probably taking away rev share dollars from the football team and replacing it with NIL dollars from donors of substance.
It's a lot of management,
by
the way.
I'm sure they're still working behind the scenes. Maybe you can drum up support NIL-wise from your donors of substance, and they're going to get you that added money you want for the basketball program. I don't think the goal from Fred or from Dan or from anyone in the athletic department is to get Nebraska to be one of the highest paid rosters in the Big Ten, but you need to get them out of the cellar.
Yes, you got to be out of the bottom third.
Get him into the top half and see what Fred can do with it, which I think we all know based on what we've seen in the last 2 years, 3 years, that Fred will be able to do wonders if he does have more money to work with. But this is not a team that needs to be one of the highest paid. And I think Fred's going to go out there and he's going to be realistic, saying, I don't need the highest paid roster in the Big Ten if you want the success that I think I can bring, but I'm going to need something to work with. Just get Nebraska out of the cellar, get them into the middle pack of the Big Ten in terms of NIL dollars, and trust the fact that you have a coach that knows what he's doing.
This one goes back to me when you hear that conversation. I agree with you that they don't need to be. I think there's more examples out there right now that you don't have to be.
Yeah, that you probably shouldn't.
Hello, Kentucky. Hello, up the street. You paid a lot of money for some dudes that don't do much, right?
Now, again, there are examples of teams that Michigan has tons of money and they have spent it very, very well.
This one to me is about placing the respect and the value on what you've done. 320 win seasons in a row. You had a head coach who was, for better lack of terms, put on an action plan, right? Salary reduction, got out of that. You're on you won the crown. And again, I think that's a valuable piece. So now it's about respect and value.
You have a coach that
value me, value my program, and looking around. Look what people value the fans.
You have a coach that is seemingly very happy where his feet are. He doesn't strike me. Hey, maybe he'll get some offers this offseason, but he doesn't strike me as the type of guy that's going to be actively looking to parlay this into success elsewhere. And with that in mind, you got to take care of him here. He's a guy that's got a plan in place. He's got a system in place that's working. And you would think with added investment, the team's only going to continue to rise.
Do you feel like this is a completely other conversation you mentioned about being loving where his feet are? I look at a guy like Fred, who's, and I don't want to say, been there, done it, all that, right? We know what level he's been at. Do you think that at one point you become very comfortable and it's stressful, but it's not what it would be if he were to go to pick another school. The stress levels of doing that versus being at a Nebraska. It's a comfort. You've defined what this program is, how it's going to run. Your fans value what's happening. There's really good basketball IQ fans in this program. So it's just interesting about now all of a sudden 23 games in. It's like, all right, here's the rev share. Yeah, we're going to do it next year.
Well, there's other schools.
Because here's the other thing I'll tell you. I believe that's coming with this, and I think it's sooner than later. Basketball fans probably don't want to hear it quite yet. The reseed is coming, which will add more dollars.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to happen. It's just the nature of the beast. We've been at PBA for how long?
Over 10 years now.
Over 10 years.
Well, almost 15, right?
Because yes, every other program does it in the country. It's either they reseed or build something new. I'm watching Carolina think about it right now. Carolina's going through a remodel reseat or completely scale it down and build another brand new one. Add more dollars back into it. So that's coming.
You're not going to be getting season tickets for what, $95 in the third level?
Yeah, they're not sending you the value plans anymore. Sorry, folks. So but again, that's what happens when those sports excel. You do those things when it's right. Like when it's hot, go get it. Right? I mean, right now, not that anything is anything, but I think you can take away from the emails that are coming out through the university right now about football season tickets. Hey, get your season tickets right now. There's something with that, right? It's not the emails that'll come out for basketball. Hey, renew your season tickets. Right now, there's emails going out about getting on the list for football season tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just an interesting conversation about where that goes. And then, is the conversation if basketball or whatever sport starts to go a little bit, this sport turns in really good. Hey, we're going to increase this. Where's it coming from? Because there'll be a budget. There'll be a P&L attached to all of this. So I just saw him like, that's so interesting. But again, just get to the middle level because optically, we all know being in the bottom third, I think Fred is getting everything. I think he's getting more out of a group than anybody in the country right now.
Yeah, and the only concern that I would have with Fred looking elsewhere would be if he doesn't think he has the resources to have staying power.
That'd be the only thing I could see it doing. Like, we're going to be in the bottom third again.
If he feels he has the resources to have staying power at Nebraska, I don't see him sniffing around to other jobs. I mean, how many other jobs do you think would truly interest him in the country? I think he's happy here. I mean, think about the fact that you lost back-to-back games against top 10 opponents and no one's sitting back. There's a lot of other basketball programs in the country where if you're undefeated and you lose back-to-back games against top 10 opponents, no matter what the circumstances are with guys being hurt or guys being unhealthy, there would be reaction with a lot of other fan bases of people freaking out.
Look, and I think being honest with the conversation about Coach Fred Hoiberg is the fact that Nebraska is a stressful job. You know, college coaching is a stressful job, but with his health, you don't see him going to a blue blood school if it was open. Kentucky, what if Kentucky came calling next year?
I don't see that being
the level of stress that, again, I think it's personally for him, the health level.
Yeah.
Nebraska's stressful. I'm not saying it's not. It's a Division I program that has expectations, but there's different ones out there, different levels of expectation and stress at other programs.
The only things I can think of that may interest him, if Izzo were to retire and Michigan State came open, would that be something he'd have to listen to? Probably. Do I see him going? No. I don't see him going back to the NBA, but what if the Minnesota Timberwolves came calling? We know how much he's talked about. He loves Minneapolis during his time playing up there, but I don't think his coaching style and personality style fits with what the NBA is nowadays. He does not strike me as the type of coach that would be able to handle superstar personas. Like, look at the teams he's had that are successful. It's guys that really embrace team nature.
Yeah, or doesn't want to.
I don't think he has any interest in going and trying to deal with the egos and personalities of superstars like an Anthony Edwards.
And I think Dannon has recognized it by coming out and saying there's significant increase in rep share.
I think that's the only thing that I think Fred needs to say, you know, this is a job that has staying power, the program that has staying power, and a place that he wants to live. Is by all accounts, he sounds happy, right?
Just double it. You're probably in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Because with that, again, this will be the last point, but with that, so other schools will increase in the Big Ten basketball world. So you got to, one, keep up and then go up with that. So, all right. Good conversation. Thanks for doing that. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll welcome a healthy Brian Munson from HuskerLine.com back with us when we return. I mean, on the other side, you imagine if they went to like a 34 scholarships for baseball. Go get your massive investment. Excuse me. Oh, man. What's coming on Saturday? I didn't order anything, did I? Figure skating. I missed that one, Arlo. I can't skate. Ain't no way. Welcome back in the morning, Hookup. Boy, I'm excited. Full health, full strength. Husker Lines, 9 months. See? Welcome back. Glad you're feeling better.
Hey, man, I know I'm back to being here, but I tell you, I swear if I reached out to you on Monday night or Tuesday morning. Tuesday was the absolute bottom for me with the flu last week. I felt awful, and I worked on Monday and I worked on Wednesday, but I didn't work on Tuesday. I was so out of it, and then sunny day was the next day, and just not an ideal time to get sick, right? Just still kind of hacking and whatever, but got healthy enough to watch some basketball and healthy enough to watch some Super Bowl last week.
Do you look back and you have somewhere to blame it? Do you blame? I feel like it's when I go on vacation, then I come home and I get sick. It's like, you know what? The portal, that portal crap, and all that finally wore me down.
I know where I got it from. I had to take my mom into the doctor because she had flu A, and then she had like this cough that carried on. And then as soon as I went into the doctor's office, I said, I've avoided it this long. I don't know how I did with a brother and a mom that got the flu. But I know I'm going to get it after this, and I swear, like it was 72 hours later, I was feeling terrible. So I know where I got it. There was a contact deal there in the doctor's office.
What was a bigger shock to you? Was it the sickness, or was it the whole saga with Tanner Vibable? I mean, a short time Husker commit, and then he flips over, and now he's going to James Madison.
What was the option against Tanner?
You being sick.
Oh, well, I think actually the Tanner thing was caught me the most off guard. I don't feel like there was much of a market there for him in December, first of all. Now, maybe that was by design. Maybe that was by design because James Madison knew about him and just wasn't going to do anything about him until the 11th hour. Kind of sneaky, like Kentucky with Dylan Berryman, right? So it's possible that they just wanted that one to lay around because they didn't want anybody sniffing on him, to kind of take a late flyer on him into the class. But it just didn't feel like there was much of a market there. And then all of a sudden, James Madison kind of comes out of nowhere and not just throws a scholarship, but throws a little bit of money at him. And look, I've said this publicly and I'll say it again. It was really a smart move by him. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you're going to go sit in the room, you're fourth string. Guess what happens? Well, Colandrea leaves at the end of the year, but you get Trey Taylor. And Trey Taylor is going to be around you basically every step of the way that you can imagine while he's still a senior in high school, because now he's going to be there basically living in Lincoln. So I don't ever see him I never saw Tanner as a guy that could have come to Lincoln, gotten film, improved his situation, by going into the portal because he had film at Nebraska. It just was not going to happen. So, well played by him. It's a loss to Nebraska. I'm not going to lie. I mean, there's some real consideration there about how the room was shaping up to look more dual threat, and how the starter from UNLV and how he from Las Vegas played the game very similarly. That would have been very interesting to kind of see how he would have developed there. But the money became too compelling.
Now with that, and you have that room, you got 4 in the room, 3 scholarship, 1 walk-on in the room. What's the next step? Do you feel like, or is Nebraska maybe feel like they need another one for that depth? Is 4 enough, or are they going to repurpose that somewhere else?
No, I think that what you're seeing there is 4 is enough. I mean, we have seen 3 in recent years, the need for. So no, I think that Nebraska is gonna that's the way they're gonna kind of approach the year is the way they're kind of going about doing it right now. I think maybe you could see that happen or come into play maybe again like in December, January, when you get Trey there and you figure out what the rest of the room is going to kind of look like, because I think we can kind of ultimately expect for things to change, basically at every year. And I think that there's a possibility there, obviously, in that room that you could potentially see some things happen there. I think though that with Dan Kalen, I think it's a multi-year deal. I'm not too sure. So I think that those are some things to kind of keep an eye on. I think Nebraska has to still feel pretty good because you bring a guy like Danny back to Lincoln. I think that was the biggest part of the whole equation. I mean, getting Tanner is kind of the cherry on top of the sundae. You would have had two quarterback transfers coming in, but I think losing him is definitely the lesser of two evils.
Well, tell us about Berryman here and what you expect from him. That was kind of the big signing day addition. He's a guy that, at 330-ish pounds, steps in as one of the heaviest guys on your roster. You can see it in his film. He's still got some athleticism. That being said, it's hard to get geared up in a short amount of time to be ready to play Big Ten football along the lines of scrimmage. What does that addition mean to you, and what are you expecting from him?
Yeah, he's athletic. I mean, he's a basketball player, and when he goes out and he's got it in his mind that he wants to go out and dominate, he's a very dominant force. I don't know how much of that really is just the overall size difference and strength difference that he basically has at that current, level of competition, or if it's just so great that there is something transferable that still then moves the needle in Division I football. And even when I say that, it's Division I football in the Big Ten. So, that's even, that's different than other conferences. It's different, than some of the lower end, P4, down to G5 stuff. So, I think it's difficult, to kind of get a feel about where he could kind of be if he could potentially work into a rotation. What's on his side, obviously, is his size. And you mentioned it, like he is going to be the heaviest player on the roster. And at 330 pounds, I think you could probably go around the country and find multiple teams that have multiple guys that are as big, if not bigger than that. So I think that's probably the most compelling part of the argument. Can Dylan Berryman come in and play some sort of a role for the defense, where he's going to play that A gap, one technique, taking on the double team because they've got to get guys off the linebackers. Is he capable of doing that? Is he at least capable of doing that in a rotational basis? So those are going to be the things I think that they're going to have to get answered. I think the difficulty that you have with that, obviously, is that you got a guy that won't be there until May. He won't be enrolling in Nebraska early, so he's not going to get there till May or June. So now you're only going to get him for, a couple, 3 quick short months, and then you're into the season. So I think that adds to the pressure of really feeling like how much you could kind of, get a guy like that ready. I mean, Pedshock was able to do it, and Pedshock is a really unique talent. I would kind of compare the two because I think Pedshock, what he has, like in a motor and his overall kind of just pass rush skills, Berryman has in that kind of strength dominance as well as his size. So it's possible. It's very possible.
Again, we're speaking to Brian Monson with HuskerOnline.com. Brian, let's talk about optically how good this is. You got your new DC, Rob Ulrich, coming in, but unique. And maybe it's not unique, but the last couple of DCs at Nebraska, this is unique. Though he'll have 3 full-time assistants that have been with him and in this system. Give me the lay of the land with that, how that'll be important to him, but also in the recruiting world, having guys that are probably all talking the same language when they're talking about defense and positioning and all that stuff.
Well, I think it really, I think you laid out a really good point there. And when you bring in a defensive coordinator, you're either bringing in all the guys that you wanted to have come with you because your previous stops and guys that you're familiar with, and it helps to implement that new plan on the defense. And those guys are all aware of what the expectations are. They're all aware of the system. They know what's going to be expected of the players, of themselves, to play for that defensive coordinator. And I think that it really helps to kind of have that clarity when it comes to pulling together that staff. Now, from a recruiting standpoint, I think it also helps because you can go back through your Rolodex of former players, and you can go back through your Rolodex of, film room, on the field practice, on the field game, about guys that you felt like played the game that, that really fit well in what you're trying to accomplish at that position. If, when you can kind of take those benchmark comparisons and you can kind of put a person to it, and you can break down the skill set, and then you can kind of then comparatively say, this guy looks like that guy did. He's got this, and this. I think that really helps then to kind of build that defense when you start talking about what are the things that are needed in the room, what are the things that are needed on the roster, and what the expectations are. And I think it also is very helpful when you can kind of put that player in a room and dial up the film of said player and let them watch. Let them watch how the defensive coordinator, how the defensive staff envision you playing and doing in their defense as you get there and you develop. I think that those are some really great situational kind of things when it comes to, like, I think you can build a compelling story. I think you can make a player feel really great, like a high school guy or even a transfer guy, when it comes to, hey, I'm going to go ahead and compare you to so-and-so, and guess what? They were an NFL draft pick. They're still in the league. They played for so many years in the league. If you can kind of give that analysis and you can kind of break it down and put it in front of them and they see it, those are some of the best ways to recruit guys. You can show that there's a path playing in your defense, and you can then show the similarity between them and the recruit.
Brian Munson with us here, HuskerOnline.com. And Brian, whenever you look at the defense, you look at some of the coaches, you also look at some of the additions. What do you think is going to be the bigger factor if Nebraska is able to turn around their fortunes on the defensive side of the ball, particularly stopping the run? Is it the dudes, the 11 dudes on the field, or is it the coaching staff putting those guys in a position to succeed? Obviously, the correct answer is a marriage of the two, but what do you think is going to be more important if Nebraska does turn things around? Is it the Jimmies and the Joes, the X's and the O's?
I think for stopping the run, it's Jimmy's and the Joes. I think for an overall total defense, I think you're talking about the coaching side of it. I really felt like if you're going to move from this odd front into an even front, and that really the idea is you're trying to get bigger bodies inside. You're trying to get a guy at least one guy that's going to command a double team. And you're trying to find ways to keep guys off the offensive linemen and other blockers off of your linebackers so they can flow and run to the play and run to the ball. I think that's Jimmy's and Joe's. But I think when you start talking about overall defensive strategy, which I think is what's interesting, because you saw it this last year. You can be not as effective against the run and be pretty effective against the pass, or actually really pretty good against the pass. And still, when you put the product together, it's mixed. Right? Because you're watching a defense that can't get off the field consistently on third downs because it's third and short. They're just going to run it at you. So there's a Jimmy and Joe component to that. But then I think you've got to look for a defense that's going to be, opportunistic, a defense that's going to be able to generate turnovers, a defense that can get off the field on third downs. So yeah, I think that, and I think what Ulrich brings, like when I've watched his stuff, like from San Diego State, he is very creative. I don't think he had ideal looking dudes on that defensive line at San Diego State. I don't think he had a 6'6", 330-pound guy running the nose. But when he did have a 6'1", 265-pound guy running the nose, that guy would line up in the one technique and then loop all the way outside to where a 7 or a 9 would be to be outside contained. And then they would slant the other two guys inside. I mean, he's got a real creative way to confuse offensive linemen that are kind of zone gap, technique dudes, right? So I think that's the part there where, you have to have some confidence in what it is that he kind of sees, and then understand the scheme and understanding what the tendencies are of the team that you're up against, understanding down and distance, field position, all that good stuff, and putting the play in that basically you feel like is going to be successful there. But I do feel like Jimmy's and Joe's is a big, big thing when it comes to being more stout against the run.
Well, speaking of that, under the radar, I guess a little bit, Nebraska did host their first junior day, and you wrote about one Waylon Wooten out there that sounds like that's a great name. You're right.
It is a great name.
A great name. But talk about, him, but the impression, but also the master plan behind junior days about the Jimmies and the Joes. And that's a great conversation there about what types, what plan they're going to have for junior days this year.
Well, and that's a great, you saw this junior day come in there, and it was first one of the calendar year. You brought back 5 of your 6 2027 commits. So you get Trey Taylor and Tay Ellis and Amir Brown and Erickson and Torrey Pittman, they're in Lincoln kind of helping things out. And I think that's great. That's excellent stuff. I mean, if you get those guys there, to help out with hosting guys and talking things through, it really is this extension of the coaching staff, trying to influence the recruiting side. And Trey has kind of this kind of, pressures off, kind of approach, which I think is real refreshing, because usually it'd be like, this is my guy, go out there and just, let's get him here to Nebraska. But when you get Trey on campus and you get the recruit on campus, he's just like, he just needs to see it. He just has to see it. But I think Nebraska now, I mean, since the spring game is so early, you're really talking now about like bringing in, that next group of recruits that you feel like you want to visit before the spring game, and you're going to do more of like a day in the life of a Husker. It was very successful, like when you start talking about guys like Dawson Merritt was a very memorable, person that went through that kind of process, where you bring in those high profile recruits, guys that you feel like, ultimately you need to get them in the class. And you want to put them there, there for a practice, sit through the meetings, hang out with the players, do the whole thing for a single day. That's going to be what I think the next big thing is going to be for Nebraska over the coming months. And then you're going to have like the spring game, and you're going to kind of wrap up the spring with a pretty bow. And then I think we're going to, we're starting to see some official visits be announced, when it comes to guys that are already planning on coming in June. You're gonna find that you're gonna get more of those guys following those single day, like day in the life of a Husker kind of unofficial visits, and that should drive then eventually more official visits to be basically scheduled on the at the end of those visits, like once they get home or right before they leave Lincoln.
It's Brian Munson with us, your HuskerOnline.com. And Brian, as we start to wind things down here, I do want to shift gears, talk some NFL. We all know the Super Bowl was a little bit underwhelming. Congratulations to the Seahawks, I guess. I do want to get your thoughts on the long off season ahead, what teams you're interested in following, obviously what your Bills need, just a general NFL off season primer from Brian Munson.
What don't the Bills need? That's kind of where I would start at. In fact, I was just telling my wife the other night, I've been watching a lot of mock drafts for the Bills, and one mock draft basically loaded up on defenders, just total defense. I'm actually down for that. I think when you look at the quick rise that like the Broncos and the Patriots have had, and I think if you look at just the dominance that was there with the Seahawks. Now, I think we all would agree that Darnold has really rekindled his career. He's done a good job doing that. I think we agree that Kenneth Walker, I had him for my fantasy team. I wish he would have ran like that all season long, but he didn't. And Jackson Smith and the rookie tight end, and the other wide receivers they got weapons. They got a good offense. But I mean, I think the secret for them is on the defensive side of the football. And I think that's what we kind of felt and saw with Denver. I think that's what you kind of get with Vrabel and what's going on in Foxborough. And I think that's where Buffalo has to begin, because there's a lot of guys that are, contractually, where are you going to be at with Milano? Like, what are you going to do there? Are you still ride Tre'Davious White out next year? Like, what are you going to do in your secondary? So I think as I kind of traverse around the league, I'm watching a lot what's going on in the AFC East. I want to see where the Patriots feel like they need to go out there and go get a guy, whether it's at wide receiver. I don't think Hunter Henry's going to end up being your top tight end for much longer. He's been in the league for a very long time. And so I think it's kind of interesting to kind of see how they're going to continue to develop and evolve. And then you got to play off of that. You got to figure out ways to defend the guys they're going to be bringing in. So that's going to drive a lot about what I'm thinking about. But I think that, free agency, I'd rather that the Bills went after a free agent wide receiver than feel like they should just go out and grab a first round pick there and feel like that's just going to be like the end all be all. I'd rather get something that's established, like a Jefferson, which is, pie in the sky thinking, but obviously it seems like he seems like interested, and like a Max Crosby who seems to be interested in joining the Bills as well, potentially. So very interesting stuff to come up. But I think for the Bills, they better start on the defensive side of the football.
I now have to apologize because I'm looking at the timing of when you got sick. Is when the last time we talked to you, we told you Joe Brady was your coach. Sorry.
I know.
That was on. That's on us.
I'm sure we found the real root cause. But
it wasn't your mom. It was us.
I think I'm a little intrigued about like bringing Leonard back to Buffalo, to Orchard Park. So I think I like the coordinator hires. I've been really, really hard on Brady, and I've listened to some of the words that he has brought up about what he's been kind of tied to and had to do with like the screen passes in general. So hopefully I can put some of that behind me, because it definitely didn't feel like he was in total control of what was being called.
Way too early here. Last thought, by the way. Pick your Super Bowl 61 champion way too early.
Whoa. I like it.
I think Denver's going to be really tough next year.
Good answer.
I think Denver's got some things cooking. And I tell you what, I don't know if I could pick a better coach to coach the Super Bowl than Sean Payton. Sean Payton always prepares so incredibly well, and they were decimated when they lost Knicks. So I don't think that I think if you had a healthy Knicks, things maybe are different. Who represents the AFC, but the Patriots will be very good. Denver's going to be excellent, and that's going to be a really, really, really tough division now between them and the Chiefs. So watch what the Chiefs do. They're kind of in the same end of the pool with Buffalo. They're trying to figure out how to get some magic pulled back together for, a quarterback that's been in the league for 6-7 years. So you're trying to figure that out. So, I think Denver's going to be really good next year.
Awesome. Well, Brian, always a pleasure on a Tuesday, my friend. Take care of yourself, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Be good, guys. We'll see you.
Brian Monson, HustlerOnline.com. Great stuff from him. Let's take our final break. Come back with stories that we missed.
All right, I just pulled this up, and maybe we could throw this into stories that we missed.
Let's go.
Would you like to guess by odds in Vegas? This is according to FanDuel Sportsbook. The top 3 teams to win the Super Bowl next year.
Top 3 teams. Okay. Let me think this through.
They're
all in the AFC. They got to be.
No,
or most of them. No,
they're.
Can I throw out the Niners?
The Niners are not in the top 3.
Okay, I just thought
the odds, by the way, plus 750, plus 800, plus 1200 for the top 3.
So you got 2.
There is
front
like
runners.
we'll go top 4 because there's 2 teams at plus 1200.
Okay, let me go through this. Let's see. Denver Broncos.
No.
Really?
Not.
I'm surprised. Sorry, I just thought that would be. So we're gonna go Chiefs up there.
No.
Wow, I thought they'd give them the golden spoon.
I thought so too.
I'm off here. Hold on. Ravens.
Ravens are at plus 1200.
Okay,
so they're tied for 3rd.
Okay. Patriots go back up.
Patriots are not. They're at plus 1700.
Oh, wow, I thought they'd be there. Well, if the Super Bowl champion gets back up there, right? Seahawks.
Seahawks are in 1st. They're at plus 750.
Okay. Who's my wedge team? They got to be on the other side.
If it helps you out,
Eagles.
They are not. The Eagles are at plus 1500. It is an NFC team.
So I'm on the bottom side just a little bit. An AFC. You said
NFC.
NFC.
The AFC is so crowded that you can get good odds on a lot of AFC teams.
NFC. Hold on. Let me look. So you didn't? You say it wasn't the Rams?
It is the Rams. Rams are at plus 800. The final team there, the 4th is the Bills.
The Bill. I was
plus 1200. So the top 4: Seahawks, Rams, Ravens, Bills, followed closely by the Packers.
Because those teams just running it back.
Interestingly enough, the Broncos, along with the Jags and Texans, at plus 2000.
I think a lot of those odds, like I said, are going to get good value in some NFC teams based on how tough that side's going to be.
Would you like to guess worst odds to win the Super Bowl?
Worst odds to win the Super Bowl.
They are by far and away.
Browns.
No.
Raiders.
No.
Wow.
I thought Raiders would be.
I thought they were just based on new coach and new quarterback.
First overall pick. That might change things up.
Cardinals.
Cardinals are close, but they're not in the bottom. They're second to last.
Dang it. Is it an NFC South team?
It is not.
Okay. I thought maybe somebody in that bad division would be there. The Dolphins. Yes. Oh, I forgot the Jets were even in the NFL. Let's see.
Okay. We are coming back here.
Welcome back in the morning. Hookup. Special thanks here to Brian Munson, HuskerOnline.com. I was just looking, by the way, tickets tonight. You can get a couple up at the top tonight. They are not that crazy because I think it's 6 o'clock game throws it off $30 up top. But if you're wanting to get into that lower bowl, it's going to cost you north of $100 to get down in the lower bowl. Somewhere in that, I mean, even some of the tickets, I think lower on is like $90 to get you down there if you want to go watch tonight. I think game time made a big difference. That's 8 o'clock. I think everything goes.
6 o'clock, it's just not great for the game. This is kind of a show and go. It's a show and go type game.
I've got kids' clothes in my car. Left the house today, and they all had their clothes put out to go to the game tonight. So when I pick them up, and in the car,
that's a fun day after school.
Yeah, it is. Knowing that you better. I told them both. Hey, by the way, make sure if you get a chance, extra time today, utilize it in school for homework.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do stories that we missed.
The stories we missed. The morning hookup.
Boy, did you see I don't ever like him because I think NBA, when you fight, you don't really fight. There was a good one last night. 4 players tossed in a Pistons Hornets game last night. Hornets have been fighting as of late. They held on for like the good winning streak for a while, but man, they had everybody on the floor last night throwing haymakers. One was going after a coach. Coach was running backwards. It's not something you see every night.
It didn't even seem like a bad foul.
No,
where
it wasn't.
If the guy's driving to the rim and he kind of comes down on the arm a little bit and holds him down to the floor, and then who was it for the Pistons that had a problem with it? I don't know, but then it just
Bridges was on the other side. Was it God? What was it? It's was it Isaiah
Green? It's something Green. I think.
Was that what it was? I don't know. He came flying across the floor.
Yeah, and then the punches start being thrown. 4 players ejected. It wasn't the only fight too. We also had a fight with Nas Reed.
I didn't see that one. I missed that one.
Yeah, it was a double fight night in the NBA. Oh, I just saw the video. I didn't even realize Bridges, after things had kind of worn down, starts throwing some hands.
Yeah,
too.
he did.
That's something. But then, yeah, Nas Reed also getting ejected. Who is he fighting? It was someone with the Hawks. Was it Isaac Gay, I think?
I don't even know. I just saw him like, you usually don't see that kind of stuff. Usually they're, a lot of jawing, but never gets to that level.
Yeah, so a double fight night in the NBA is always fun. Hooksy, did you see last night TGL, the first ever hole-in-one?
I saw it. Did you know that was his first time ever playing?
Yeah, first time ever playing, and he not only hits a hole-in-one, he also hits the match-stealing putt.
Yes, I saw it. Nate Shipley?
Neil Shipley.
Neil, not Nate. Neil. TGL, I'm so intrigued by it. I watch parts of it. Like I love the production of it. And I think you can see they're invested into it by the way they're doing it. That meant something. When he knocked it in last night, the celebration was real.
Mm-hmm.
And you had old Tony Finau doing the Dougie a little bit when he got introduced.
I think in order to make it more, I think they need to make the holes more fun. You have that stinger hole. That's great. You need more unique, non-real world holes like that. If I want to see guys playing real world golf holes, I want to see them playing on the course. I want to see what pros can do with fun and challenging circumstances.
Yep. Speaking of challenging circumstances, if you want golf, watch the AT&T Pebble Beach this week. It is a loaded field if you like to watch golf. Scotty Scheffler. This is crazy. The odds, like these odds go back to Tiger days. Obviously, Scotty Scheffler is the odds-on favorite to win every week he's in, right? That's just what it is. Plus 310. Any idea? All right, so Roy McIlroy is playing. You got McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, Gottrup, Cam Young, Justin Rose. Everybody's there this week. Oh, Matsuyama's back. Give me an idea what you think Roy McIlroy's odds are in this. And he's number 2. It's plus 310 for Scotty Scheffler.
What are Rory's odds?
Plus 1,600.
I mean,
that is a odds where you're saying Scotty or you get the field.
That is Tiger-esque, isn't it? I mean, I think Rory would be the better bet there.
Siwoo Kim. And then after that, it's like plus 2,300, plus 3,000, plus 35. I mean, he's reshaped this era right now of golf. When I saw it, I'm like, wait a minute.
He didn't even look great last weekend.
No, but did you see how he finished? He was 17 under after round 1.
Yeah.
It was his first over par round he signed in 8 months or 9 months, whatever. It's crazy. Tomorrow, a lot of Kool-Aid. Henry T. Buchanan.
Reaction to Nebraska Purdue.
Yep. And a whole lot more. You guys have a great Tuesday. Be safe, be blessed. We'll catch you on a hump day.